heart speaks with words the mind knows nothing of. And you guys are exemplifying that. You're in such a precious stage of building together. It's new, it's fresh, it's young, there's almost an innocence to it as well. That is just it's really an honor that you're sharing this so vulnerably, so openly. And it reminds, I think, any one of us of that time when we were there, or as we're entering into it, to hold it sacred. And it's just so beautiful to hear how sacredly each of you are holding these seeds that you are nurturing, feeding with that love and the food, and through systems and other mechanisms to have something, as you say, Hoya, to share with the people. So it's so much bigger than just the two of you. I mean, I clearly get the impression, even wanting to nurture others on the airplane, as you just said, with your food, that there's no limit to this.
I share with Tracey all the time, especially when we're having difficult moments or misunderstandings, right? I said, listen, love, I'm responsible for a nation of people. So for me to just jump up and come and see you because, you know, we have our personal needs, that it may not seem like it's selfish, but that is selfish. You get what I'm saying? Because there's so many more people that we're responsible for. Now, there's definitely going to be plenty of time for that because we got a system. We plan well, especially with Tracey on my side. I definitely got a plan with it because, hey, you don't want to not plan and get in line with Tracey. She's gonna call you out on not planning. So I got to make sure I'm planning well. And when we plan well, then we get all those people that we're responsible for to act in our favor. And that's when we live a wealthy lifestyle, because they understand that we care about them and they care for us. You know, they want us to have the best and we want them to have the best.
Yeah, and it reminds me of the words, together we overcome. Truly, we can accomplish so much more together, and we can overcome anything with that unity of purpose and focus. So guys, to try to bring it full circle for right now, which is not easy because it's just really wanting to reach in so many directions right now, as love, right, is almost nuclear in its explosiveness.
This definitely. I don't know if you want to put nuclear on this one because it's explosive in that way. I could understand where you're coming from, but I mean, it's so alive, you know, it's so alive. It's not deadly, it's alive right here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. This is living life free. That's what we get to do. We get to enjoy each other. Nobody can tell us what to do, when to do it, hang up, you got to go. Not really.
Yeah, I apologize for that, Hoya. I didn't mean the negative of nuclear, but the energy of it, right? That something so small and precious like a seed has so much energy to give, which both of you do. And in service, in a part of a mission. So I think that the question I would try to bring it full circle with, if that's possible, is just if there's any additional advice, because you guys have already offered a lot of wisdom here from your experience. Is there any additional advice or any closing words you would want to make sure that other couples building together could tap into from your example?
Well,
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
What I think that we do really good is we try to incorporate each other into each other's businesses, right? We have different core businesses, but we understand business right? So that helps. And so we're always looking for ways to figure out how we could bring the taste of life into something that I'm doing, right? So if I'm going to have an event, then great, we can have the taste of life, cater it, and he would come from over there to over here, work with all the people that are here in the States and make that come to life, right? So that helps build his business and his vision as well. But in the same breath, he's constantly saying, babe, when you come back over here, we've got to do a workshop, right? You got to show the people what's going on and how they can get on the internet and, you know, do these seminars and this and that. And there's tons of people that need your help, you know, over here. So we've got to do that. So as a couple working in business in two separate types of businesses, being able to find ways to integrate the two businesses in a way that complements the other, I think is something that people in relationships in business should work on, seeing where that groove can actually, you know, that tongue and groove can actually fit for them.
I agree. Like she said, first of all, it allows us to spend more time with each other. And there's nothing like seeing your partner succeed. You know, every day I wake up, last night, I was on her webinar with one eye open till she hung up.
And you gotta remember, my webinar is at 9 o'clock at night, right? Eastern. So that's 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. It started at 4 in the morning, his time.
And didn't get over to about 6, 7 in the morning, which I stayed up the whole time after my full day. Like I tell you, yesterday morning, I'm not even sure what time I got up, but I could tell you that I did do that 2-hour drive down south and back. And I made time to be on her webinar because this is my baby. Like, if I'm not on the webinar, who's on the webinar? I got to show up first. You know what I'm saying? I got to get the front row seat. That's what I picked, dude. I picked the elite. And when you aim high, your standards have to be risen. You know, literally sitting in the room back here, because I was at the deli at that time. I actually made a cheesecake in the middle of the night. I do stuff like that. Like, you know, I get tired or I don't feel like going to sleep, I'll just bake, or I'll just, you know, yeah, I'm that kind of chef. However, I was on her webinar until like 6 o'clock this morning, and sleepy and tired, I was listening, because she's a true businesswoman. She gets the job done. There's no complaining. There's no ifs or buts. You know, she teaches her customers what it is to be successful and how she give them all the information that they need. And she helps me as well. She's the marketer. She's the media person. I'm more of the, what am I?
Like you're like the hands-on execution type of person, right? It's like he has vision. He's a visionary, so he has vision. But then, you know, you might work together to create a plan. And now when it's time to execute that plan, he's taking care of all of those details and making sure that the plan actually manifests into what the vision was set in the first place. So very integral part of it all. So
that's true. I mean, I literally live by my name. My name means, it means God shall prepare the way. So sometimes I get that confused and think that I have to prepare the way, but he's preparing for us. And that allows me to take a deep breath and realize that, no, you don't have to do everything yourself. You know, he's preparing the way for you. You just need to remember what that is and choose that path.
Fantastic, guys. It's really beautiful and really precious. And it's such an honor that you're willing to share this with us. Any closing words, again, hopefully to inspire other couples entering into this courageous, you know, reach, right? It's a stretch.
Well, I would say something. Don't try this at home, because this ain't for any and everybody. And you got to be seriously dedicated to want something like this. I mean, you really got to want it, because Tracey could check out anybody that walks into a supermarket, or, you know, that's local. She doesn't have to put up with this, but because she can see with the eye that the cup is half full and it's worth it. Same thing here. It's worth it. What is worth it? 6 o'clock in the morning, one eye, yes, it's worth it. And I will tell anybody and share it with the world that I'll do it again and again and again, because it's worth it. So this ain't for the faint-hearted. If you don't believe in real love, if you don't believe in togetherness, you got to keep trying. You got to keep working at it, because you can't do it alone. I mean, Tracey probably doesn't know how many times she got me through that phase. Based that way, I turn off my phone. I don't want to hear no customers, no clients, nobody. I don't want to hear nobody. When Tracey calls, all that stuff go away. Now I can talk to everybody once again. Reset.
Tracey, anything that you wish to add at this point?
I agree with Hoya that, you know, it's not easy. It definitely is not easy. I don't recommend, like, I didn't look for this, right? I wasn't going into the gym that day because I was looking for a relationship with a man that lives on another continent, right?
I'm gonna cut you off. Neither did I. Neither did I. I wasn't flirting, brought no extra game or anything with me.
Right. So much so he stood me up and didn't even take me on the dang on date to the comedy club. And come to find out, right, there was other issues why he didn't, and that was fine too. But it worked out the way it was supposed to have worked out, right? So that was always something that meant a lot, because on his last day, I look at it like this: his last day, he could have done anything, right? The last 24 hours in the States, but he chose to come hang out with me, go to a networking event, which was a plus, because if we're going to talk and hang out and date or whatever, and you don't like to go to networking events, that's what I do, then we already know it's not going to work down the road, right? So out of the gate, he's like, oh man, I would love to. We went, we had a good time. He knew people at the networking event, right? I'm like, how do you know these people? So that was a good sign, right? From the very beginning, to make it worth it. Me getting on the plane, going over there, I wouldn't have done that, right, if I didn't think it was worth it. Huh?
No, I said not you. Please. I got to be special to get her to come over here on the plane. I got to write a book on that, because I couldn't believe she did it. I was like, for me? Like this guy right here? But yeah, she did do it. And oh man, it made my life, like my life is so much better because of that. And it's funny because sometimes I think about it like, why are we distant? Why are we in these two different locations? But it's just a part of the process. We can't take it for granted when we are in the same location and I have no time for you. It's business, business, business. I don't have time for you, you know? You got to understand, and I have to understand that everything that I do, whether it's business or not, is for us.
Yeah. So I just recommend that, you know, just in life and business, both of us have been in relationships before. As I shared, I've been married before. So I don't take a lot of this stuff lightly. It's not, I'm not 15, right? Or 16. And it's just, oh, this is that. No, it's for real. I have a child, you know, and he's great with my son. I mean, even from over there, it's like my son wants to call and, you know, and be with him, and he talks to him every day.
We got our own FaceTime calls and chats.
They have their
own. What do you say in his chats? But we got our own little.
He can call. Josiah has his little iPad I gave him, and he can call Hoya when he wants to, you know. And I'm like, well, he might be asleep. He might be asleep, and he's just not starting to understand that. But I feel very safe with my child being around him, from the type of relationship that we have, because he's not here physically. When I say safe, I mean with being exposed to his mind. Like, I'm such a stickler for the mind of my child and what he's exposed to, and the type of thoughts and the type of belief systems that he's injected with, that Hoya is a person that I wouldn't worry about that with my son growing up, right? I mean, he even calls him his son, right? It's like, hey, that's my son over there, right? And I don't have a problem with that either. But I trust that relationship, right? And so all that to say is that this isn't something I'm just, oh, it's a phase, or it's this or that. You know, it's not. It's a real thing. You know, I have a family. He has a family. We talked about building more of a family, right? So obviously we've got to be together and more for that to take place. But
my favorite part. I had to say something. That was my favorite part.
Building more of a family. I know.
Absolutely.
So you've got to be, I mean, Hoya talked about it. You got to be, you know, it's not for the faint of heart. You got to be committed. You got to be dedicated. You got to be willing to work on the greater goal, as opposed to the instant gratification of something. You've got to be willing to work through challenges and differences. And there are times where I'm like, oh, I don't know. You know, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. He was, like one day I was feeling some type of way and I was like, look, I don't know Hebrew. I don't know this. And he was like, I don't know Hebrew. I know Hebrew. You got me. Like, you don't even know this. What are you talking about? We got a whole community of people to help with the baby and this and that.
I gotta tell Tim about this one.
Tim keeps trying to get us off. We just keep going. We're sorry, Tim. I told you, no way 15 minutes this is gonna be done.
I think she tried to break up with me. Yeah. She told me she don't know Hebrew. I was like, look, you know how many people in this country don't know Hebrew? My parents, some of my grandparents, not mine per se, but some of the grandparents in the community, they've been here 50 years. They don't know Hebrew. They never care to learn it. I bet you they're in this country, though. My little grandma, she don't know Hebrew. She know what they saying. She don't know how to respond. I said, come on, look, you, Tracey Walker, don't tell me something about you don't know Hebrew. I mean, give me a better reason why you don't want this no more. I think she tried to like cut me out. I was like, hold on, you trying to cut it?
So I would say, no, there are times, no, we're still human beings. We still have weak points and things like that. And he was able to kind of lift me up out of that rut I was in at that time. And hopefully I'm there to lift him up as he's kind of shared with some things that I've been able to help him do over time. And just that. And so people that are building businesses together and you're in the same place, you think you have a challenge, right? I've done that before in a previous relationship, but you're trying to build businesses and you're not in the same location. Well, the grass isn't green on that side either, right? So either way, you've got to want it. You've got to believe in it. You got to work together. You've got to listen and acknowledge each other's strengths and be able to trust that the other person, their best interest is in the good of the group, right? In the us. You heard he talks a lot about us, right? And so I trust that with him. And he's doing something, it's for us, right? And I know if I'm doing something, it's for us. If he doesn't hear from me or I don't hear from him in a couple of days, you know, I don't start spinning out of control with what's he doing, who's he talking to, this or that. I don't think he does that either. We're just working and we've made the commitment and that's not even a concern, right? We know that whatever's happening is for the greater good of us. And so I just want to encourage other couples to just keep that in mind, that you can be together or apart and you're still gonna have to work at it. So don't.
You can live in the same house with a stranger too, because I've experienced that. So being apart from Tracey and understanding, like you said, we can go 2 days without speaking to each other, but I know she has my best interest. If she's, whatever she's doing, she's thinking about us all the time. And I do the same thing. I mean, the only way to make it through this hectic world, this business is another girlfriend by itself. It needs so much attention, you know, but again, you know, I got our best interest at heart at all times, because that's picture perfect.
So those would be my closing words, Tim.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You bring to mind one thought I'd share, and I think I would context it. You know, there's kind of these three realms in my awareness, right? There's the stuff we know, the things we know, and then there's this stuff we don't know, which, you know, we can learn. We can read a book. We can go to a training, and we can pull that into the known. But there's a bigger piece that to me is like 90%, and that's what we've really touched upon here to the best of our ability with words. This is the unknowable. Long pause. You know what I mean? Like, just think about that for a second. The unknowable. And I'll give you one, you know, after my 51 turns around the sun, I used to hold on to a few truths like, oh, this is significant. This is important. You know, I got to hold on to this and walk with it. I've only got one left. It's that everything's unknowable. I mean, literally, the leverage, right? I mean, the leverage that you guys shared of how you united, how you began to weave together what you're now growing together. This is unknowable stuff. And I'm so grateful that you shared it with us in this way. It's incredibly unique. Most people won't get it. I mean, that's just a given. They won't get it, or they'll think they know it, or they think they don't know something and they need to find out what it is, but they'll be missing it because that's like 10%, maybe 10%. We've tapped here this unknowable, and I just want to share with you, in my own marriage, my own love, my own cross-cultural work with my wife, and living in a foreign land myself, and you know, I don't speak the Norwegian fully yet either. I heard it said this way, and you guys have reminded me of it, so I just want to offer it quick. This idea that coming together in union, in love, the way you guys are doing now is could be understood as a single cell in the heart of God, right? Like we see ourselves separate, but this union creates a third thing. It creates something that's bigger, as you've referenced, bigger than ourselves, or, you know, 1 + 1 is a bigger one than either one of us in the mathematics. Yeah, exactly. And then it's kind of an image, and those are the best words I can offer. It's unknowable, so I'm not trying to think I know it here, but I reach for it. And I think we've reached for it here. This idea that if we can find that heartbeat, you know, it's not your heartbeat and my heartbeat. It's our heartbeat as a single cell in the heart of God, like in the heart of all creation, which now brings me back, Hoya, to what you're doing with the food, right? Because it's the love in the food to have that aliveness, that energy, that heartbeat to feed each of our human known hearts, but really, right, to unite as you guys have done here and shared so preciously with me and those of us who have an opportunity to plug into this, to imagine, like, what does it mean to be a single cell in the heart of God?
That's amazing that you say that like that.
Yeah. I like the way you put that, Timothy.
Yeah.
The words barely scratch it, but it's worth reaching for in that unknowable, you know.
It's definitely worth reaching for, because everything that you said, we have experienced. Like Tracey said, when I'm down, she pulls me up, and vice versa, because it's unknowable, and that's all I say. I mean, I don't know it all, and I said, listen, love, I'm new at this. I haven't been married before. I don't have any kids. I don't know it all, and you know, I could just bring Hoya. I don't know beyond that. I don't have 40 years experience on this earth. I don't know. What I could say is, it would be nice to know what will happen, and you know, if we be here, then we could see together. So I think that gets us through the rough stages as well. You know, I live in the unknown. I love to live in the unknown, because I think that's the best place to live. Like, it could always end up better. What if it do work?
Yeah, and then being willing, Hoya, as you're doing, to be willing to share that, right? In business, as an entrepreneur, in love, in relationship, in family, in the community of your people, as you say. It's a courageous thing, I find, for us to reach into that unknowable and be willing to pull, like, it's like a strobe light, you know. We get moments of awareness or inspiration, and that's it. But that's enough.
That's enough. That's enough. So, like, one of the things that kept me focused while being on this journey here was the fact that Tracey was not vegan, and I didn't want to force anything, but I said, if I could just cater vegan food to her door, then my business would be perfect, because I'm already in business. I'll make the money and stuff, but I could feed the person that I love. That's the most important part. It's not the money. It's not the business, nothing. If I could transfer the food across the world, or at least transfer the instructions to the chef that's on that side of the world, you know, because we have like big companies like Uber. Uber transformed transportation for years to come. They have reinvented the wheel, or the way that the wheel spins, should I say. And I want to be the Uber for food. You know, I want to be the apple in the kitchen. The apple in the kitchen, for real. Because all the apples we talk about has nothing to do with the kitchen. Except, well, no, that's Uber Eats. That's not even Apple. But yeah.
Guys, I look forward, if you'd be willing at some point in the future, to touch in again, because there are stages to this, as you know. And I would love to know, you know, when and if. There's no rush, but like whenever that time comes that you think it would be an appropriate next chapter, or in some way we could collaborate again to reach into the unknowable of these precious topics, which most of us don't talk about, which is what's so cool about what you guys have done here is, you know, most don't want to talk about this stuff publicly and in a vulnerable way. And yet if we don't do it like you guys have done here, how can we inspire one another? So again, thank you. And I look forward, if you're willing and able in the future, if it's the right time and the right place, you let me know and we'll clear the calendar and make sure that we can once again get more of the story out.
Absolutely.
My pleasure. I'd love to. Thanks for having us, Timothy.
Absolutely, guys. Well, for now then, I'll be signing off from Norway to Tel Aviv and also to Atlanta. Thank you so much, Tracey and Hoya.
Thank you. Shalom, shalom.